Hey traders, welcome back. In today's episode, we are going to be going over our 1-minute Bullish Pivot Pro for ticker UXIN and how this one worked out for us on Friday's price action. I want to break down this indicator. This is we've got some new settings, some new filters here, new features, something we're very excited about. And I want to go over this and how you can use this to quickly identify that trend and know if the trend is bullish or bearish. Now, what you're seeing on your chart is you're seeing a number of different things. You're seeing some pivot zones. You're seeing some signals and overlays. You're seeing some pivot watch alerts here as well. So there's a lot going on, right? But this is the way I have my chart. You can design this indicator however you prefer, and I'll show you how to do that towards the end of this video. We'll break down the settings. But quickly, what we're looking at here is you can see that there is red candles and there's green candles. There's overlays, signals, and these values here. What's happening is whenever we see the red candles, according to this indicator, we are seeing a bearish trend. So until we start to see those green type of candles, it's not technically bullish momentum, right? And if we're day traders, we're looking for that squeeze type of momentum play, then typically we're looking for it to be a bullish type of trend for that to happen, where short sellers are then covering their positions and getting back out. And that's where we get that squeeze momentum. So that's going to be over here. So what you're seeing is, okay, we started to get some momentum, green, green, green. Okay, long, 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 short, short, short. All of a sudden we get above here. Short sellers are starting to cover, long, long, long. Before you know it, this thing just exploded. And if you measure this move, these are 1-minute candles, by the way, a 1-minute chart using Tradingview here. If I measure from this first green candle here all the way to the top of this move, this is 57%, over $2 per share, and about less than 3 hours. So really nice trend type of trade. So if you're a trend trader, this is very attractive, right? And this is on a low float stock on UXIN. Now, when it first started, it did not have that type of volume that we typically look for. And this volume meter below is now going to really let us know if it has the proper volume or not. So under 30,000 shares, we look at that as fairly low volume, especially during the regular market hours. So anything under 30,000 shares on a 1-minute chart typically is very low volume. Anything that starts to get over that 30 to 50 to 100,000 share mark, then we look at that as adequate volume to take heavier position sizing, right? So if I'm a trader that's looking to trade 5, 10,000 shares and it has less than 30,000 shares traded on the candle, then I'm providing 1/3 of that candle possibly, right? So I don't want to do that. So instead of me providing the liquidity, I wait for the liquidity to show itself. Once it does, we can attack and take advantage. And what we can see here is some price action. Right here, we have that lower volume. As I hover over it, we're going to see these lower volume candles, and I will replay this in a bit. But right now, we're just going to do a still image here and go over it just to break it down. So this candle gave us a signal here. This signal, if you hover over, is a bullish signal detected. Price must stay above most recent pivot zone to remain bullish. So the most recent pivot zone would be over here. It closed above that pivot zone, so we're using this pivot zone 298 as our area of value, right? And what that means is it's giving us a clear indication that if we get above, it's bullish. If we go below, it's bearish. And it makes it really simple for me as a trader, which is great because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things going on when we're trading these lower float stocks with high volume sometimes and where they're just kind of moving very quickly. So to have that clear indication that if we get above this area, I can go long. If we go below, I can short. That's really a cut and dry entry of what this strategy is. That's going to give me clear indication of my strategy, right? Above, bullish, below, bearish. Very simple. Very simple. So over here, we closed above, got the signal. We then held the level and continued higher. So this was a nice scalp move for anyone who's trading it. But we plotted another pivot zone here, closed above. There's your bullish signal. So closed above. Continue over here, bearish signal, and we then were in a bearish trend until you see that this then closed back above that pivot zone. So now the candles are going to change color for you. So even if you don't have the pivot zones plotted on there, you can have these candles changing color for you and really making it easy to determine, is the trend bullish or is it bearish? Well, if it's green candles, it's bullish. Now you have the option to also change the colors in the settings. So if we go into the settings of these candles, so we double click anywhere on any one of these signals here, you'll open up the settings. And if you scroll on down to the bottom, you can have the option, scroll up a little bit here, the dynamic candle change. So that's where your options to change the color. So if you want to change the candles to blue when they're bullish, or to maybe white, or whatever you want, you can do that. So we'll hit cancel here. We'll go back to the green for now. So this signal is bullish. Okay, even though we're pulling back, it's still green bars and green candles, and that's because we're still bullish until we close below this pivot zone, recent pivot zone here. We did not. We continued. Okay, great. Over here, we now see that we had another pivot zone plotted, a couple of them here, and that means that we're looking for it to close above that pivot zone before we look at it as bullish. We did get a signal here where it gave us this pivot zone and said, okay, below this is bearish. You can see it's extended a little bit farther than this one, which makes this one the most recent, right? So each one's plotted. This is going to be the older one. It's a little bit back behind this pivot zone. So held that pivot zone. Okay, great. So if you didn't take it, close over this. There's your close over this pivot zone. Okay, great. Continued higher. There's your scalp. Another pivot zone closed below. That's our bearish signal. Pulled back, right? So a lot of opportunity, both long and short on UXIN. We then curled back up. This was a sell signal here, or a bearish signal. Well, all of a sudden we get a bullish signal. So if you're in as a short position, this is where I'd be covering. And then all of a sudden we continued, right? And we had these green candles. Even though we're coming below that flow zone, we still have these green candles because we're above the most recent pivot zone that's plotted. So we continue here. We got another pivot zone here. So if you missed an entry, here's another opportunity, right? Pivot zone 392. And the pivot watch label, this is nothing new. This is going to be the same as what we've been dealing with or using. These pivot watch signals are going to identify where is it meeting conditions for a possible reversal. And then we're looking for the break of structure, which is this signal here, to give us the indication that it is now bullish. And then we look at this pivot zone as our strategy, right? Anything below, that's where my stop is. Anything above, that's bullish. We look for continuation. Well, continued here. Pull back, another pivot zone closed above. So here's another entry. So again, if you're missing out on this original entry, here's another entry. Here's another entry, right? Here's another entry. So you can see that this this indicator is trailing up with this, and it's a momentum type of indicator. So as we're continuing and as the trend continues further, we're taking these trades and we're getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out. So every time we meet a new pivot zone, a lot of times it's a good idea to lock in profit. So here we go. We had another pivot zone plotted over here. We then closed above. You can see this candle closed above that level. So this close was above this pivot zone, right? That's our bullish signal. And you can see bullish signal detected. Price must stay above this pivot zone to remain bullish. Okay, so it did stay above it. It tested it here. There's your entry. There's an add if you wanted to add to it. Continue up higher. Another pivot zone. Okay, now we plotted below the pivot zone, or we closed below the pivot zone. So this is going to plot our bearish signal. Here's a pivot watch signal, so looking for conditions to close above. Here's your close above that signal or above this pivot zone. So there's your bullish signal. Well, guess what? It then failed that zone. This is a fail of support. Got to get back out, right? And we can see these are those red candles because it's not above this most recent pivot zone plotted here. So trailed back down. Okay, here's a pivot. Here's another pivot watch at 475 and 478. Now you can see that we have two labels here. 478 did not offer a break of structure alert. So we look at this as when to start watching. It gives you that heads up. And then the next signal we're looking for is this break of structure. And then we look for the pivot zone to hold. Okay, this is our break of structure. Okay, we're in our position. We can add into here, but if we start to come under, that's where my stop would be set. Okay, nice move on UXIN, popped up, another pivot zone plotted. Okay, take profit, and now we have our bearish signals here detected. Okay, it's below that area, so short sellers can take advantage. They did. We can see we get another pivot watch here, 480, with a pivot zone plotted. So we did get the break of structure. So again, with these pivot watch, these PWs as a pivot watch signal, we're looking for that to plot. That again is to give us a heads up, just basically letting us know as a trader. How many times have we, got the signal and we're like, oh man, I missed it. I was too late to it, right? This pivot watch signal now gives you the heads up, so you can take set an alert on that pivot watch signal, get the alert where it's time to start watching for a possible break of structure. Get the break of structure right there, bullish. Okay, that's what we're looking for, and now it holds this level, clear indication of where to get in and where to get out. Continues higher here, and now at this point the market is closed. Now you can see that the key price is listed over here as well. So this is the most recent pivot zone for our extreme pivot zones, and that's the key price listed at 549. So in other words, I would say a high risk setup would be a close over 549. We'll then have to hold that level, and that will be my clear indication of where to get in, where to get out. So this zone here will be my indication of where to get in, where to get out. So below this zone is where I deem it as bearish. So that's around 537, 538, if you can see the price here. So I would then be setting a stop. So if I get in here at 550 or above, I'd be setting a stop around 537. So a clear indication, where do I get in, where do I get out? So really simple, right, guys? We've got the color changing candles. Now down here, what you're going to notice is there's a bar here, right? And it's a meter. And it's going to basically just go from left to right. And it's going to start from red and go into green once we get into these higher volume type of situations. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that. So let me rewind this. So we'll do a little replay on the chart. We should have volume in here, I'm guessing. So I'm just going to rewind it to here. And we'll watch these bars as if we're watching real time. So if you're watching real time, this is how it would be. So you can see down here already on this candle, which is 131,000. I can see that up here. 131,000 shares on this candle is showing 100 to 200,000 shares down here. So you don't need to look up here. You now have this bar or this meter that's going to let us know. And you have this little icon, which you can change. I have this little finger aiming down at which whatever one it is. So hit play. Okay. So in this instance, guys, we want to hold this pivot zone. So if you just get in here or you're just getting in your position, it's got to hold the 449. That's the key price. You can see it's green. That's because we're above it. If we start to come below that key price, that's it. It's considered bearish. I stop out. So my stop would be there. Let's see what happens. All right. We're pulling back. We did not fall below. And there you go. You're getting a nice scalp. Not a huge move, but about 8%. There's 10% right there from the current price down to this level. That's not bad, right? If we measure from the top of this or from this level, we're looking at 14% at the top of this move. Not bad at all, right? We'll take that type of move. You can see a lot of volume, over 200,000 shares on this candle. You can see up here 211,000 shares as I hover over that candle. So very simple indication that green bars bullish. We're above our zone bullish, green price tag. So a lot of indications here letting us know that yes, this is bullish price action. So you can see that down here, that volume bar is changing as the volume changes as well. Let me slow this down a little bit so we can see this a little bit slower. So there we go. You can see down here, you can see the volume bar grow. And it's starting with quite a bit of volume. Let's see if we slow it down a little bit more, how that works. And you can see another pivot zone was plotted, so key price 522. So again, if you missed this entry, that's okay. This indicator is looking for that momentum price action. So we just got we got another indication here of this is bullish here, another area of value. There's your pivot zone, clear indication. Below is bearish, above is bullish. We closed above. There's your signal. Here's your key price. Okay, it's really simple stuff, right? We've got volume. Let's hit play. And what we're trying to see is this volume bar kind of grow up. Here we go. There we go, 30,000 to 100,000. So it's getting a lot of volume. There's a lot of volume on this one, guys. You can see over 300,000 shares on that candle. So there's a lot of volume on a few of these candles here. And that was intraday, and that's a lot of the reason why. But look at that move that it just made, right? Look at this move. So again, clear indication if you're missed out and you got that fear of missing out, and you're like, oh man, I don't know how to get back in this. Well, here's your indication of the bullish price action. So once we get above this new zone that's plotted automatically for us, that's it. So now we're plotting a new zone. And if this zone plots, we're going to see that key price is going to move up here. Let's see what happens. Hit play. And there it is. So now you have the new key zone is going to be up here. So that's it. The price action is no longer bullish until we get above this 590 level, and it gives you that clear indication of where to get above. If you're a short seller, you can take advantage of this. Same thing, 590 would be your stop level, just above that, right? So it would be the opposite effect. If we're a long trader looking at this way, then just below would be our stop level, and if you're a short trader, just above would be your stop level, right? For covering your position. So let's hit play. You can see that the volume is picking up. Okay, you can see it grow here, and you'll see this real time. This one has a lot of volume. Some of these though will be a little bit slower, so you'll see it down here. So if it's under a 30,000 shares, typically, it's just hard to trade large size. Maybe just reduce the size or avoid the trade altogether. Here's that signal. So we pulled down. Here's a signal. So this is a breakup structure signal. That's bullish. We close below the high. That's a not a great signal. And then before you know it, we close below the low of this zone. That's our bearish fail of support. So even if you're getting in here and giving it a chance, right? We gave it a chance. It just didn't work out. So that would be a stop out there. Take a loss, move on. Of course, we're already in the green from all these moves over here. But now we're just watching this fade off. Now let's speed it up a little bit. You guys will see now it just kind of fade off. And so a short seller is really taking advantage of this type of price action as well, right? So very simple, guys. You can see this was where it was green. This is where it's red, really simple. Now let's go ahead and go over how to add this to your chart. So if you have this already and you want to add this to your chart, if you have access to our premium indicators, then you have full access to this indicator already. I'll show you how you can add it. So let's go ahead and for now, I'm just going to turn this off. Just hit the I and turn that one off. Well, let's just go ahead and just delete it off the chart for now. And let's get out of the replay. So let me go ahead to the real time and we'll hit, let's get out of this. All right. So first thing you want to do, if you have our indicators and you're a member of our premium Discord, then you should have access to our indicators here. Go to invite only. So hit the indicators tab at the top, go down to invite only, and we want to open up the 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro. That's this one here, 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro. We have a number of indicators, but this is one of my favorites, if not my favorite at this point. So 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro. I love bullish momentum. That's the type of trader I am. I love that squeeze momentum. I love that. So click on that. It will add it to your chart. A mess of things are going on. I'll break it down. We've got a number of values listed up here as well. Let's double click on the indicator itself. Let's go to the style and go all the way down to the bottom. Or excuse me, let's turn off the labels on the price scale and the values in the status line. That's going to be these values over here as well as these values up here in this area. So I'm going to turn those off just by clicking that. Okay, and then once we have this saved, I'll go back to inputs. Once we have this exactly the way we want it at the end of this, we can always save it, guys. So you can go in here and you can click this default and hit save as default, and then that will load up each time on your chart the exact same way. So that'll save you some time. So hit OK. So we hit OK there. All right, a few things that we're going to notice first right out the gate is we've got our labels are a little on the smaller side. They're plotted behind the candles right now, so a little bit of an issue there. So let's go up to our indicator. Let's go to the 3 dots, visual order, bring to front, and there we go. All right. Now we can see the label is now stacked on top of the candles. So the candles up here, this was actually stacked on top. So a lot of times it's just a layerment issue. So just rearrange the layer there just by going to the 3 dots, visual order, and bring to front. All right. Now we have that brought to front. Now we don't have these labels are not very large, so let's make those larger. And I would typically keep them pretty small if it was just for me. But if we're doing a demonstration like we are today, then I would enlarge these. So the quickest way to open up the settings for the indicator is just click on double click on one of the alerts on the chart, or you can double click on the name itself. So either way, that's works for you. So I'll double click on an indicator here. First thing I see is the volume requirement. I like to increase the volume requirement here. So it's set at 1,000 shares. So I'm going to set this up to 10,000. Okay, so that alone is going to change some of these signals because it's going to adjust it. So we're looking for a volume requirement now. So really, I'm basically saying don't give me the signal for the reversal alerts unless we have 10,000 shares on that candle or greater. Here's the chart signals: bullish and bearish chart size, signal size. Excuse me. Let's go to large pivot watch signal size. That's going to be those white labels here, which I don't see any. We'll go to large on that. I'll hit OK. We'll start with that to get us going. I'll zoom out, look for one of those labels. Here's one right here. Okay, so here's one of those labels. Okay, we made the label larger so I can see it a little bit easier for this demonstration. We've got a pivot zone being plotted. We've got this break of structure signal. Okay, so again, to open up the settings, just double click on one of these, either the pivot zone or the break of structure signal, the pivot watch signal. Either way will work. In the settings, we changed these signal size to large. Okay. Break of structure color, you can change the color. So if you want this to be blue, you can do that. You can do whatever you want. So whatever you prefer, you can do that. We had them as green. I'm just going to change it to, we'll hit cancel for a minute here. And then let's go back to, there we go. Fixed it. Okay. You can change the colors. I'm not going to change the color. I'm just going to keep it the way it is. We'll go over the new features. So that's how you make it larger anyway. So the candles are not changing color, and we want to see those change color. So let's go ahead and double click on the indicator again. So I just double clicked up here. You can do it on the label itself if you want. And this is going to be all of your user inputs and options that you can change. There's a lot of them, guys. So you can really customize this indicator to look and feel the way you want. So if you like something about it, you can use it. If you don't have to, right? There's a lot of options in here. So go through this, take your time, read through these tool tips. We've put a lot of information in here to help you guys out. And if you have any questions, reach out. But there's a lot of information that's right in here. So our pivot zone options, you can see that we've got, you can extend the zone. So if you want to extend the zone, you can. Extended zone text color. We recently had a request that this pivot zone was right here was basically getting in the way. So the pivot zone was not adjusting with the zone itself. And what was happening was the zone, when we would resize the chart, the pivot zone text would still be out here. So if you want to make that invisible and get rid of that, just go in here and change the opacity, change it to black, and then just change it all the way down. You can see that it's then taking that off. So you can see now it's gone. Okay, so if you don't want to see that text there, you can do that. I'm going to hit cancel here. I'm going to leave the pivot zone text myself. Double click on the indicator to open up the settings again. Dive back in here. Again, take your time, go through all this, guys. There's a lot in here. They're each labeled in different categories. Towards the bottom, though, you're going to see towards the bottom the dynamic candle change. That's what we want to see here. Okay, so to change the colors of the candles based on these zones and trends, let's go ahead and do that right here. Change candle color based on trend. Okay, let's click that on. And when I click off here, you're going to see now that these candle colors are going to change. Now they're all green except for a couple of reds in here. So if you find that to be easier, this is a really great way for us to determine, and when we pull up a chart, is it bullish or bearish? We can tell now by the color of the candle. So if it's green, it's bullish. And you can change the colors too. If you prefer to see those as blue or white or whatever it may be, you can change that right in here. I'm not going to do that, but you can change the color, the opacity, whatever you want to see. Maybe you don't even want to see the candles. I believe you can do that as well. So if you don't want to see the reds, you don't have to. But the reds, you can change them to blue, purple, pink, whatever is best for you. So again, come through here, customize your chart the way it is. But now you can see the candles are now changing color. You can add on the highlight for bullish and bearish candles. So if you click this on, you'll notice right here, watch, there'll be a highlighted candle here. So you can see the little highlights on the chart. So now if you prefer to see that, so if this is just another way to really help identify the strength and the trend, you can do that as well. So this is bearish, this is bullish, and those are going to be our highlighted candles on what's going on there. So if you want that on, you can have that on. I'm going to click that off for now. Backtested alerts, you can turn that on to see more alerts that you're not seeing in the chart. We can only show so many. That's kind of a restriction with Tradingview with the labels, but we can show all the times that this has occurred in the past as well. So if you want to backtest it and see how well it was performing in the previous weeks to months to years, you can do that as well. The volume meter at the bottom, volume meter options right here. Click this on, and it's going to add the volume meter at the bottom of the chart. And we have this set to large. You can change the size. So if you prefer to see a smaller size, you can do so. So really, it's up to you. And if you want to change the color of the low volume opposed to the high volume, you can do that as well. So if you want to have a more vibrant look to your meter here, you can do that. So you can adjust the settings. And then the volume signal option, that's going to be that little pointing down finger that I use. You have a number of options in here. So if you prefer, that's going to be this little icon here. So if you prefer to see maybe a little arrow instead of that one, you can have it, right? If you want to see maybe like a lightning bolt, you can have that as well. We have a lot of options in there, which is really cool. Just to really, again, customize it however you prefer. It's up to you. Me, I like to use the little finger aiming down. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but hit OK. All right, we're good to go. And now we have our candles. We have our volume meter added to the chart. Now, the reason we add the volume meter to the chart is because our typical volume indicator is also changing the color of the candles. So this one will kind of override that one depending on what layerment issues or what layer you have this indicator on your chart. If you're using that indicator, it will still show the bullish vertical trend, but we're having trouble depicting the volume for each candle. So we add this volume meter to really make it easy. So as we're going through and we're looking at this, this chart, we're saying, okay, right now the current candle right here, this candle, which has 18,000 shares on it, you can see that up at the top. We can see that this one only has under 30,000 shares. So it's low volume. So it's see that red on the volume bar or meter there. So very easy way to determine that. This will adjust real time. So this is going with the most current candle. This will always be for the most current candle, guys. So if you're looking for the volume on the most current candle, this will tell you what category it's in, whether it's high volume, low volume. You can very easily see that, whether it's red or green. If it's green, you're good to go. Change the colors all you want. And this is what we're talking about, guys. See how I zoom out? You can see the pivot zone stays there, but the zone itself shrinks. So the text is staying there. You can change the opacity if that's a pain in the butt for you. You can change the opacity and turn that off. The key price right here for me, that's good. But if we're doing a demonstration, that's a little too small. So come in here. We want to see the extreme zone right here, extreme pivot zone price options or zone options. And you can change the color of the zones. You can change, toggle them on or off. You can turn them off if you prefer. I'm going to leave those on though. And the extreme zone signal size, that's going to be these signals here. You can make that large. If you prefer to see these large, you can do that as well. So you can see this is going to get larger. There it is. And then the extreme zone price label size. So that's going to be this one. It's a tongue twister, but that's this one right here. If you hit large on that one, same thing, increase the size, make it a little easier to see. And really, it's up to you. If it's my own charts, then typically I'll have it smaller, but we added the option in case you would like to see it a little larger. Hit OK, and there you go. That's it, guys. So simple, right? It's, there's a lot of options here. Yes, you can get lost in these options, guys, but please, watch this video a few times, make some notes, reach out with any questions, and we will have more demonstrations. But just a quick tutorial on our new features on the 1 Minute Bullish Pivot Pro. It looks like these are huge alerts right now, but that's okay. This is, again, for a demonstration. So if you prefer to have them like this, you can do so. If you have multiple charts up, maybe that's a pain in the butt. So maybe you want to have smaller alerts. That way you can fit more on the screen. But you can see bullish price action, bearish, 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 bullish. Okay, this is where it signaled bullish. All right, nice move, bearish. Here's another entry. Okay, here's a pullback. Here's your entry back in, right? And then all of a sudden you can see continuation, continuation, and continuation. So very easy to depict and understand when it's time to get in, when it's time to get out. These zones are giving us that clear indication of exactly that, right? So this zone right here. If you missed this entry, you missed this entry. How many times have you missed an entry because you only had one signal and it just wasn't working out? That's the benefit of this indicator, guys. It's giving multiple signals. It's a bullish momentum type of indicator, but at the same time, you can see it's very valuable for short sellers as well. So if you're a short seller, it's the opposite effect. If we're not above that pivot zone, well, us long traders are staying out of the way. Those long traders who are not, well, they're getting taken advantage of. So we're trading with a very clear indication that above the zone is bullish, below is bearish, and bearish signal, bullish, 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 bearish, bullish, bullish. You can see the bullish is definitely a trend here and outweighing the bearish. But guys, that's it. Quick demonstration. The 1 Minute Bullish Pivot Pro. Open it up. Look at the settings. You can change some of the settings here. See how the results fare for you. If you want to increase the number of results you get, you can do that. If you want to decrease the number of results you get, have a little bit more selective results, you can do that as well. And there's a lot of options in here. So check it out, guys. If you have any questions, I'll see you in the chats and Discord. If you don't have access to this indicator yet, visit our website, bullishboblive.com, and you can get access to this indicator that is available for Tradingview, and really makes it easy for us to understand the bullish momentum without having to really stress. We just pull up a chart, and instantly we know if it's green or red, whether we're trading long or short. But guys, thank you for your time. Hope you have a great day, great weekend, and I'll see you in the chats. Thanks, guys.